for today's cup of coffee. We've had some challenges over the past few days. We've had challenges today.
Weather.
So, we've got Mercury that's supposed to go retrograde, I think, on the 10th. We're recording this on the 8th. Actually, on Mother's Day, we're recording this.
The damn cat killed my plants.
Yes, he had some plants that he was trying to grow that he had started from seeds, and he had one of them that was doing, pretty good, and she ate the top off of it.
I hope it was
And
spicy.
it wasn't catnip. So we need to grow them some cat grass. They do have I don't know if it's a barley or something like that. I know that at PetSmart it's like some stupid price for a little divot. So
I hope that damn pepper sets her ablaze.
yes, that would be good.
It sets her ablaze.
Should
Anybody want a cat?
I tell them about my stupid that I did?
Do you want to?
I think I will. I had a really bad stupid. Everybody has derp moments, but this was actually a dangerous derp moment.
It was a danger. We had to stay.
And I will tell this on myself. I will, because maybe it will prevent someone else from having a stupid. And I actually we're the type 1 now with the diabetes. Mm-hmm. So that means that I have to check glucose level before I eat. I'm supposed to take at least 10 units of a fast-acting insulin. And then, according to what my glucose level is, I have to adjust that a little bit. Then I take a long-acting insulin at night before bed. So that sort of carries me through on that. So, was sitting here Friday night, and I thought, okay, I can go ahead and take the long-acting insulin. Go ahead, inject myself. I look down. I have used triple the amount that I was supposed to use of the fast-acting insulin. And that was a total
10 units.
Oh, shit.
10 units.
And I injected 40. And it's just like, oh, shit. This is a big mess up. So that was scary. I had to call the Ask a Nurse hotline, who informs me that I need to call poison control. And I'm like, I do not want to have to explain to people that I have done this stupid thing, but I also didn't want to die.
So I told you to. I hounded your ass.
He did. He hounded me until I called poison control. And so the gentleman, I had to check sugar every 15 minutes. And until like 4 o'clock that morning, or till 3, and then I could get it down to every 30 minutes.
He called back every hour.
He did. He had to call me every hour. God bless Brian from the Poison Control. And it was a matter, there was no need in panicking. What was the point?
It's just like, oh, shit.
And so I asked him, I said, okay, as far as your database, and because they have to keep records of all this, I said, am I going to be under the category of, accidental overdose? And he's like, no. He said, you will actually be labeled as an unintentional therapeutic error, subcategory dumbass. But I had to consume sugar.
Yeah.
And after that many hours, I thought, if I have to look at another piece of candy, another spoonful of jam, another regular soda, I'm going to barf. So, point being,
I live on the ship.
If you all are diabetic, if you're friends with a diabetic, please keep your insulins far apart. I have learned.
Take notes from Dad. Take notes from Dad.
What I was doing was going ahead and replacing the pen needle after each usage. And so now I have stopped doing that. I will put the pen needle on right before I use it, and then that way, hopefully that will circumvent that ever happening again. And it's like, oh, God, she really did screw up. When I screw up, I do it big time. But I lived.
You did live.
I lived.
Yeah, the next morning I woke up and, like, Mom was asleep and I'm like, oh, God, has she died? Has she died? So I'm, like, checking. I walked into her room and I stepped, like, a good foot in and I'm, like, leaning. I'm like, is she breathing? I can't. Yeah, she's breathing a little bit. I think I can hear the hose going.
That's the CPAP thing. Getting older is hell.
So, like the cats ain't panicked, so.
Right.
She's all good.
So it was.
And then when she woke up, she's alive!
And so now we find out, oh, okay, Mercury's going into retrograde. And it's like, that sort of makes sense because that can deride your brain. We also have a blood moon that's going to be coming up in our area that will start on May the 15th and go into the 16th. Mm-hmm. And that is going to be the full throttle of it is going to be over the eastern half of the United States and South America.
Loves it.
And people are like, well, what does that mean other than, then you can see it?
We're fucked.
It means vast changes for the areas that are right there in the trajectory.
Mm-hmm. Also, speaking of stupid, here's our topic for today.
I'm slurping coffee also. I've been binge watching this show that's called A Haunting. Mm-hmm. And it's been going on for quite a few years, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I've been watching it since I was little.
And so I had alluded to one of the episodes in the stupid that was there where the woman had gaslighted to tell her that's like, oh, you've created a poltergeist. No.
That's you can create an entity in a way.
That is a thought form. That is different. That is totally different than a poltergeist. Yeah. So some of the ones we thought, well, let's just go ahead and do a full cup on some of these that we have watched. Because it's like the stupid gets broad and deep on some of these. And I understand that it must be a difficult thing to try to find people that are willing to go on camera and share their stories.
Can we talk about the bitch and the bitch?
Huh? Which one?
The episode of the bitch and the bitch.
I don't even know which one you're wondering.
The round-faced.
Oh, yes, we are. We are.
Can we start with that one?
Well, I was going to do them in order.
Okay.
I will put my coffee down. I hate to. I need to just have an IV.
Hand, so.
I need to have an IV drip going with the coffee.
I need one, but for nicotine.
So, here on season 4, episode 1, it was called Legend Trippers. Mm-hmm. And this was a group of college-age kids that there was, legend surrounding a cemetery. So what do? And that people are going, it's like, don't go there. It's really haunted. Don't go there.
Yeah.
So what do? They go there. Because that's that frontal lobe shrinkage still going on. And
you dumb fucks.
So it was interesting because they had gone at night, of course. They had sat upon some of the tombstones and stuff. Mm-hmm. And when they came back at one point, there was a crack in one of it was obviously one of those above ground tombs, whatever they got. Mausoleum. And no, it wasn't a mausoleum per se. It was a mausoleums where you have all of them in like the, desk drawers. But it was, it is very much like a filing cabinet.
Yeah.
But they had noticed a crack in one of these, death vaults that had not been there. And then the paranormal stuff really kicked into high gear. Mm-hmm. As far as seeing shadow people, as far as seeing apparitions, scared the hell out of these kids. But it was just one of those, it's like, dumb ass. If somebody says, don't go there,
don't go there.
And what was worse, after they had told their story,
I mean, who am I?
Others have gone there. And so it is this perpetual thing. And I do get it. People, when they have not experienced the paranormal and or supernatural, there's almost an enviousness of people who have experienced it. Except when after they experience it, it's like the oh shit thing.
Listen,
what have I done?
If I'm going to go ghost hunting, I can go down to Nana's because I know the ghost won't hurt me there.
Right.
It's all good. I can go.
Right. Deal with the ghosts rather than the ones that you don't.
Yeah.
So please don't fall into that trap of somebody, just, you're like, oh, it won't happen to me, or I hope it happens to me, or...
It'll happen to you, all right.
It's a matter
you'll get that and then some.
A lot of times, yes. It is a matter of, if you're curious on some of these, it's better to listen to somebody else's account, especially if it has been some kind of a demonic something.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants that? Who needs that?
Not me. Zach Bagans, he's the one that needs that.
We've had that and still have that going on.
Not in our house.
Not in the house.
But that's not even anywhere near us right now.
But to somebody that is very dear to us. And it is a horrific thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to know what it's like to live with somebody that has a demon and or unclean spirit on them, send us an email. We'll explain what has happened in our world. Yes. For over 11 years now.
Yes.
So, we don't speak just, out of theory on this. There was episode 3 of season 4 that was called Spellbound.
Was it one of the lady that the witch and her son being an asshole?
Yes. And what happened with this lady was... I think the marriage was tumultuous anyhow, and that she became very curious about the occult. She kept reading books and stuff like that. Seems like her marriage was not that great. The relationship with her, with the husband and her son was not that great. And so she keeps getting more and more into the occult. Mm-hmm. Kid had some kind of supernatural something, and for whatever reason, I think she didn't want to hear it. Then the stepfather was out of the house, and so what does she do? She digs deeper into the occult. And so it drives this wedge between the kid and the mama, and the kid actually goes off. He joins the military.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's gone. So what does she do? She gets more into the occult, which included, some of this summoning shit.
And what did he do?
Wait. He comes home from the military and hasn't seen the mama in years. Now you can go ahead.
And what does he do? He yells at her and he's a fucking bitch to her. And then storms off again rather than being like, hey, I know you're into this, but I've done my research on it. It's not good. No, he fucking ridicules her and treats her like a fucking asshole. I hope he gets hit.
Now that's his emotional response.
He's an asshole.
Now that is out, what had happened while he was away in the military, she had gotten, again, further and deeper into the occult. And when he came back home to visit, there were these things, these beings, these little sparks of light that had basically surrounded him.
And so he got spooked.
That had frightened him. Plus he had seen something, this figure in this dark cloak that he thought was her. And so, yes, it did frighten him.
He said he got attacked, which was a fucking lie.
From him, as far as these, whatever these little entities, pixie-looking things, fairy-looking things, they did sort of swarm him, according to the depiction.
But they didn't hurt him.
The next morning, he asked his mother if she had been in the room. He tried to explain the situation to her. She was actually very excited. Okay, she wanted the supernatural experiences. He did not. While he had been away from home, he had, as far as becoming Christian, she had totally changed the way the house with, she had all kinds of different altars, different things like that were totally opposed to his belief system. that caused more friction. So what does she do? She starts doing more spells to try to change the situation. And it backfired because whatever these sprites or things that they were, they did start attacking her. And so,
they swarmed her.
One of the things that was such an affront to him was that she had taken his cross, hung it on the wall inside of a pentagram.
Now that's
a no-no.
Yeah.
And had they sat and talked, and it's like, okay, this is my belief system, this is why I view this way, instead of just this clash of beliefs.
The thing is, I'm sure she would have done that. She would have totally had a civil conversation. No, he wanted to be the asshole.
Well, and that happens a lot of times with fear. When you are trying to have a fear-based conversation, that doesn't work well. And that he had just totally, his own mother had shut her out of his life. Okay, that's not cool. And like I said, if you've got somebody that is in the occult, if you're a different faith, sit and talk with that person.
He shut his own mother out of his life for time being because he couldn't fucking man up and just have a civil conversation.
Yeah.
No, that's not someone she needed in her life anyway then.
It was her child. So, anyhow, that one could have been resolved. I think they actually did start she got out of the occult because she realized that she was summoning things that were not good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, a benefit of that. The relationship was supposedly healing, but there was more there than just a clash of beliefs. So, people don't have to treat each other like jerks. They really don't.
She wasn't treating him like a jerk. He was treating her like a jerk.
Well, now, I beg to differ. When she had taken his symbol of his faith and had put that in, inside of a pentagram, I can see him being highly offended about that.
No, yeah, I can understand but being upset about that. But other than that...
Well, it's like she had become obsessed. She really had. So, then we have episode 7. This one was...
in a more civil way.
Absolutely. This is when people's emotions override their ass and their ability to reason and speak to somebody in a rational way.
Mm-hmm.
Happens lots in the world today. Episode 7, it was called The Apartment. And this was, I think this had taken place reportedly in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And God love him, the little guy that was in there, my heart went out to him because this man, and it's like,
God.
How do I say this? How do I say this without becoming political in any way? I don't want to become political, and it has a lot of times has nothing to do with politics, has to do with the world as it has become. And they had moved into this apartment. They were married. He was an undergrad. He was working on his undergraduate degree. The wife was supposed to be working on her master's degree in psychology. So they started having episodes, as far as seeing stuff and everything like that. I think that the husband had seen the apparition or the haunting or whatever first.
And she told him it was in his head.
Right. She gaslit him. So when she has whatever, she starts throwing a bitch fit about, you're not supporting me the way that I need to.
Because he did the same thing back to her. He said the same thing that she said to him, and she wanted to be a bitch about that?
Well, And I am not one to ever...
I could go on a whole ass rant of just...
to pick on somebody because of their body size or shape or anything like that. But my God, she probably had about 200 pounds on this little guy. And the word that kept coming to mind over and over was, God love him, he is cucked. Totally, completely. And he seemed like such a sweet kid. I mean, he really did.
And she was a bitch.
And she's sitting there going, I'm a strong woman. And I thought, no, honey, you ain't.
No, you're just a bitch.
You're just sitting there. And So they finally did move out of the apartment. He did complete his degree. She never went back and completed hers.
Maybe that's a good thing, because she would have been a shit therapist.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it, she needs therapy.
Yeah!
I think a lot of it was she was probably flunking out anyhow, and then she wanted to blame whatever kind of haunting or whatever had made her fail her course. I call bullshit on that.
I call bullshit too.
But
she was just looking for a reason.
Absolutely. The way that it was in the interview, it's like, this little man is trapped. His spirit will be trapped on this earth from this experience, which I hope it's not.
And he's going to be like, I shouldn't have married her.
But it was just...
what was I thinking?
I mean, And then the one that was the most... so far that I have watched, it was called Ghost Hunter, and this was episode 10. And this one was kind of ridiculous. A lot of them can be ridiculous.
Is that the one that you ranted about the other day?
No, this is another one. And you had this lady that she had been in law enforcement, and for whatever reason decided that she wanted to go into ghost hunting. I don't know. And that she had other people that she worked with during this period of time. She was actually a skeptic. Mm-hmm. But she spent an extreme amount of time going and doing and giving lectures and all this bunch of stuff. So she was attention seeking is what it ends up to. She had a teenage kid. And she had taken him with the group one time at night through a graveyard. And she was sitting there going,
when will y'all learn? Do y'all not watch TV? Do y'all not watch movies?
She was like, well, graveyards are usually benign. And I'm like, what?
The hell you say? That is the least benign place. That mental hospitals and hospitals in general.
And prisons.
And prisons. Those are the most active places.
Yeah. Anytime that you've had human suffering, that's where you're going to have a lot of these hauntings, if you want to call them that. So she took kid. One of the other people had given him some dowsing rods, and it's like, any of that stuff, those are not toys.
No.
They're tools. Mm-hmm. And like any tool, if you don't know what you're doing, you can get hurt. So he was there with his mother. They had actually seen some of these shadow beings. She saw them too, but she didn't want to admit it. Okay, one of these things attaches itself to kid. And so he's having these experiences. She won't listen. His father doesn't want anything to do with this stuff. And the kid, him telling his story, was extremely pitiful because they would leave him there for, overnight and stuff sometimes. Teenagers need supervision. And he was having these experiences, and there was no one that he could talk to about it. Mm-hmm. So his personality, switched because he had an attachment. Yeah. And, it was just one of those things. Was that the one? I think that may have been the one. Yes, that was the one. Where one of the folks that was in the paranormal investigative team, when she was talking to him about that, I know what it was. The kid woke up one morning and he had this star scratched into his leg. Mm-hmm. Damn. And she really didn't believe him. She thought that, I don't know if it was a matter of attention seeking or self-harm or something.
I hope he was like, you never believe me on anything.
Well, he did, but then later on, he was getting in trouble at school, different stuff like that, that he came home and he had other scratches on his body. And according to the, recreation, they scratched him in front of her. She finally got it.
Wow. I wish it scratched her. So one of the members of the investigative team knew someone who was an independent priest. Mm-hmm. And so they had said, you really need to get this kid an exorcism. And both of them started this whining that they were afraid of the exorcism. They weren't afraid of the demon.
They were afraid of the exorcism.
Because they dumb.
Well, it's the misrepresentation of what that is. And they keep thinking that it was like The Exorcist. And he was confused that, as far as the scene with Linda Blair, where, the pea soup, everybody's familiar with that one. He somehow thought the exorcism had caused her to look like that. He did not understand that it was the demon that was trapped in the child that had caused that much damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think his mother was any more informed about the situation than he was. Which was sad.
She thought she knew it all.
Well, and so they did take him to the independent priest that, he did not have to go through the approval of all the higher ups, which can take days and weeks and months, during which period of time the people continue to suffer, and that he was able to free this young man from, this demonic entity.
Mm-hmm.
So the show is fascinating to watch, but it is frustrating when you do have experience with these things.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it can also almost be dangerous. Now, the one that we had already ranted about, where the woman was being gaslighted, that she thought she had created this poltergeist that was hurting her child, so that she was hurting someone that she loved. And that was psychologically dangerous.
Yeah.
So
Did she ever learn that it wasn't her fault?
I don't know. I don't know. But whoever that person was has, people that are doing this, especially if they're saying they're doing this professionally, they have a responsibility.
Yeah.
So, anyhow.
That's why if you're a ghost hunter, you actually have to know your shit if you want to be good at it and well known. But
it's also, why would you want to be well known? What are you seeking?
Well known
are
as
you
far
seeking
as knowledge, like you can teach others properly.
And you do have to question that. What is the motive? Is it somebody seeking fame and fortune? Is it somebody seeking personal knowledge, power? What is it? Why would people go out and seek this?
See, for me, it would be knowledge and to teach others.
Be
like, this is what this is. Don't mess with this. Don't mess with that.
The main thing on a lot of it is don't mess with any of it. If you have a situation that is right there in your face and you have to deal with it, okay, then you have to do what you have to do.
That's when you're like, this is this entity. This is how you deal with it. This is how you get rid of it.
Yeah. And that's what I told you, even as far as
get your house blessed by a priest if necessary.
Well, there's other people that are people of faith that can do that. And it's not just, like I said, you don't go out with just a smudge stick and stuff. And now I will say that one lady, and I can't remember what faith she was of, she was talking about preparing yourself as far as fasting and praying before you even try to approach any of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting show. We're watching it on Discovery Plus. That they've got the other. Well, if somebody wants to watch it, so they may have. I think they do have.
Ain't sponsored. We ain't sponsored.
Oh hell no, we're not monetized on anything. I think they probably have some of the episodes on YouTube or something. Somebody may have downloaded them someplace else.
Yeah, you can also buy them on YouTube.
Yeah. So.
That's her computer doing the thing.
Yeah, it's doing the thing. But yeah, that's our rant on the stupids.
Yes.
Well, I've got a low tolerance for the stupids. I had a low tolerance for myself when I had the stupids. Because it was just a matter of going, my God, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that.
Her and I both stayed up till like 4 or 5 in the morning.
This is how I watched all these episodes of A Haunting.
Yeah. She's on the couch. I'm on the love seat. Once in a while, I'll glance up because I also have my laptop in the room. I'll glance up, be like, You all right? You alive?
It's like, I really did that. I really did that.
Yeah.
So, but I lived.
That was the same night
that
I decided to cut off calluses with scissors because I couldn't find my blade.
Mm-hmm. And other people are going, yes, God love them. They really prayers that we are delivered from the spirit of the stupid.
Yes. Hey, with scissors, I didn't cut myself, so
God,
it's all good.
If you've had experiences with the supernatural, paranormal encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids,
Stupidity.
if you have stories of the stupid, if you've got local, regional, or family myths or legends, send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com, and the email address will be in the description box if you can't remember it. Know that you're loved. Even if everybody has had a day of the stupid. Everybody has derp moments. And guess what? You're still loved.
Yes.
So if you need prayers, feel free to send us an email on that too. We have lots of experience with that.
Mm-hmm. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. Thank you all. Have a good... Tell us your stories of the stupid.
Yes, but don't be a dumbass. We'll see you on the next cup.
I didn't want to say it like that. I didn't want to say it like that.
Tact.
I stopped myself.
I have no tact.
How dare... Okay, she said it, not me. Don't blame me.
We'll see you later. Bye.